Good evening, Zimbabwe. This is Change Radio News. Today is Monday, the 15th of July, 2024, and the news is read by Shumisa Sibanda. Stories making the headlines. President Chamisa admires Japanese bullet trains, wishes if Zimbabwe could copy. Honorable Gadzore sues government of abduction and torture, and Auditor General report reveals chronic looting by ZANU-PF. And now the stories in detail. President Nelson Chamisa has called for an efficient public transport system in Zimbabwe. Sharing images of a bullet train from Osaka to Tokyo, Japan today, President Chamisa emphasized the need for safe, cheap, and efficient public transport. He also expressed appreciation for Zimbabwe's beauty and potential and bemoaned the lack of good leadership in the country. Honorable Takudzwa Ngadzore is suing state security agents for abducting him. Ngadzore is seeking $150,000 as compensation for the damages he suffered during the ordeal. According to the Zimbabwe Lawyers for Human Rights, he is demanding $50,000 for pain and suffering, $50,000 for unlawful deprivation of liberty, and $50,000 for humiliation and affront to dignity. He was abducted by armed men on November the 1st, 2023, outside his residence. He was tortured, injected with an unknown substance, and left in Kristen Bank outside Harare. Ngadzore is suing two Central Intelligence officers whom he identified as he recorded part of the ordeal. They are Director General, the Zimbabwe Republic Police, and the Home Affairs Minister. The Auditor General report, which was released last week after concerned youths demanded its release, has opened a can of worms, exposing deep corruption and uncontrolled looting by the government in the new dispensation. Zimbabwe's Ministry of Information and Publicity, run by ZANU-PF spokesperson Nick Mangwana, paid for 7 Toyota double-cab vehicles through Solution Motors, but nothing was delivered. The government of Zimbabwe purchased 3 buses, 60 motor vehicles, 167 laptops, and other furniture worth $2.6 million, which was looted. The Treasury reported transferring $11.7 million to ministries, departments, and agencies, but only $8.4 million was received, with $3.3 million being looted. In an ongoing program to review citizens, MPs and councillors, our reporter Kokelani Kame spoke to residents of Chipinge Ward 1. The citizens testified that Councillor Cherechedzai Kachata is working very hard in the ward. Let's hear the testimonies from the residents.
Magadini, inindi neitwa Mishe Kitava, ndinogara muchipinge Central Ward 1. Kanzera wedu muwadi 1 Cherechedzai Kachata. Tinoda kupa kutenda, tinotenda yambo, tinobonga zvatinoitirwa ndikanzera wedu. Tinototenda Mwari nekuti takapuwa kanzera unotiitira zvakanaka. Unogona kutigadzirira mapato edu, tikatarisa mabhini akutorwa zvakanaka, mvura yakubuda zvakanaka, zvese nemabhiriji anofamba nevanhu nechi zvese, nekubatsira vanhu vanotorwara nevamwewo vanenge vachitoshupika, anobatsira zvese izvozvo. Ende izvezvi akatiitira zvakanaka zvekuti muwadhi medu taitonetseka, pangave pamarufu, pangave pamai, asi wakatigonera nekuti wakatiitira kutsvakira matende, pakutitsvakira zvese nemapoto nemabhodha. Saka vanhu vanofara ende tinofara kuti takawanirwa kanzera anotiitira zvakanaka, ende tinobonga kudai aramba akadaro achingoita zvaanoita izvozvo. Ende tinoda kupa kutenda kuti zviro zvedu zvakatinakira, nokuti zvese zvaanoda anotiitira, kutibatsira nokutiitira zvese. Tinopa kutenda kanzera Kachata kuti aramba akadaro.
Our reporter also spoke to Councillor Cherechedzai Kachata. Let's hear more from him.
My name is Councillor Cherechedzai Kachata of Ward 1 Chipinge Central. Firstly, I would like to thank the residents of Ward 1 for their support, hard work, and their understanding, particularly during the summer period when our roads were no longer trafficable. What we did as residents was to use the little resources that we had and ensure Ward 1 was trafficable and reachable once again. We also managed to repair a makeshift bridge that links Ward 1 to town and some footbridges that also crosses the nearby Nyakari River. Since time immemorial, we had a problem with mushrooming illegal dump sites everywhere in the ward, but I joined hands with the residents to clear the dump sites before council chipped in. Like most of our residential areas in and around Chipinge, Ward 1 had a challenge in water supply, but since October last year, we are witnessing an increase in water supply in our ward. We have an ongoing project that we are assured of reducing our water woes in all our 8 wards in town. But before it is finished, we are already receiving water at least 2 to 3 times a week due to some changes we have introduced, e.g. the distribution pattern, where we now follow a water supply schedule which can't be disrupted easily unless there is a power cut or issues with the partners like the Zinwa, etc. I am also in the midst of pushing council to repair our reserve tank, which has been leaking of late. I have also identified some open spaces which are going to be converted into recreational facilities. These facilities should be working in full swing by the end of this year. In March this year, I introduced the idea of buying tents, plastic chairs, kitchen utensils, drums, etc. to be used during funerals. And the idea was grabbed with double hands by residents, and right now, everything is now available. Therefore, we are no longer facing challenges whenever there is a funeral in our ward. For your own information, we used to hire these tents and everything else from other wards, but it's now a thing of the past. Lastly, I would like to thank all Ward 1 residents for a job well done and urge them to continue the good work, peace, love, togetherness, and always chip in when their assistance is needed. Thank you once again. May God bless you. Councillor Katswata, Ward 1, Chipinge Central.
Our Choose president has called for the strengthening of the anti-corruption court in Zimbabwe. The president of the Amalgamated Rural Teachers Union of Zimbabwe, Obert Masarare, said that there is need for a stronger anti-corruption court in Zimbabwe, free from political interference in addressing corruption issues. Let's hear him speak.
So sad to learn that corruption now involves almost the whole system of government, from the executive, go to parliament, everywhere. Everyone seems to be corrupt. And unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be much movement with regards to arresting those who are corrupt. We've seen millions being allocated to the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, but that has not yielded any result. We've seen money being allocated to create special courts, the Anti-Corruption Court, but at the end of the day, you find the Anti-Corruption Court prosecuting Job Scala for supposedly inciting public violence. You find the Anti-Corruption Court prosecuting Jacob Ongaruvumi for law and order cases. So at the end of the day, our resources that are supposed to be dedicated to dealing with corruption, they seem to be diverted to attend to issues that have nothing to do with corruption. Our recommendation with regards to corruption is to strengthen the Anti-Corruption Commission and ensure that it is given the mandate to deal with corruption without political interference. We know the biggest threat to the fight against corruption is political interference. Let's eliminate political interference. Let's allow the professionals to handle corruption. You will see more people going to prison.
Citizen spokesperson Mr. Promise Mukwananzi paid a visit to Senator Timber at Remand Prison yesterday. Describing Senator Timber as a solid statesman, astute administrator, and capable negotiator and advisor, he said Senator Timber may be behind bars, but he was in great spirits and raring to go. Today marks 29 days since Senator James Timber and the Avondale 78 were arrested. Change Radio is disturbed by the persecution of innocent citizens who are being held on politically motivated charges, including Langton Manaka, a news writer for Change Radio. We call on the international community to hold Zimbabwean authorities accountable. Citizens of Zimbabwe living in SADC countries last week submitted a petition to the chairperson of SADC, His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema of Zambia, and in a conversation with Change Radio yesterday, the chairperson of the SADC Democratic Society, Mr. Trustin Ndlovu, said that SADC must assist Zimbabwe by addressing the dispute that arose from the 2023 elections. He went on to discuss the highest level of corruption by ZANU-PF leaders and their families. Let's hear more from him.
We must make sure that in Zimbabwe we are more patriotic to protect our resources, our natural resources. There is looting all over in that country. There are short deals that are played. Corruption is rampant. There are so many social ills that I cannot start listing here right now. We want to fix our system in education, we want to fix our health systems, we want to fix all the transportation, the roads and so forth, the economy. We want to fix our economy. That's being patriotic because we want our country to be properly governed. We want a better life in Zimbabwe. We want to bring good life change in Zimbabwe. We love our country. We are very loyal to our constitution, which is being vandalized and violated by ZANU-PF systems, by killing people, by denying people the rights to demonstrate. That's actually vandalizing our constitution. So coming to the second issue of outward looking, yes, we are not only talking to our own people only, we are appealing to the SADC member states, to our members in other countries in SADC. That is why we have actually registered here in South Africa the organization or the umbrella term, we call it SADC, Citizen Democratic Society. That is, its membership is open to all SADC members. Often we used to hear South Africans saying, how best can we help you, because we are not part and parcel of that. When they become part and parcel of this organization, they are now having the power to speak on behalf as SADC members and SADC citizens. This is very important because if they don't get involved, the death of democracy in Zimbabwe will always affect them. The death of democracy in Zimbabwe causes immigration issues, migration. It causes a lot of social ills around.
Emmerson Mnangagwa has once again distanced himself from his involvement in the Gukurahundi crimes, accusing detractors of causing the post-independence atrocities. He made these claims while officiating at the official launch of the Gukurahundi Community Outreach Program at the Bulawayo State House on Sunday. Critics, including opposition party ZAPU, have criticized him for imposing himself and running a program that lacked legislative authority. His decision to appoint chiefs to conduct the reconciliation has been questioned, with analysts saying traditional leadership lacks experience in dealing with the genocide and they may be acting under duress as they receive allowances from the same government implicated in these atrocities. The Zimbabwe Republic Police is investigating a fire that damaged 12 vehicles at the Southerton Police Station complex on Friday. According to Commissioner Paul Nyati, the fire, which destroyed trucks and cars, originated from an electricity pylon. The government of Zimbabwe has relaxed its ban on importing cars older than 10 years, but only for specific groups of people. According to a recent government notice, the following individuals can now bring in used cars aged 10 years or older: those who have inherited alcohol, returning Zimbabwean citizens, and diplomats coming back to the country from abroad. This change is outlined in a new regulation called S1111 of 2024, which amends the Control of Goods, Import and Export Commerce Regulations of 1974. In international news, former United States President Donald Trump was the target of an assassination attempt at a rally on Saturday. The gunman, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, was shot and killed by Secret Service agents after firing shots from a nearby rooftop. Trump was injured in the attack, reportedly suffering a bullet wound to his upper ear. Despite being a registered Republican, Crooks had made a donation to a Democratic-aligned Political Action Committee in 2021. This would have been his first presidential election eligible to vote in as he graduated from high school in 2022. However, in a rare Oval Office address, President Joe Biden strongly condemned the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump, calling on Americans to calm down the heated political atmosphere. He also instructed an independent review of the security protocols in place at the event where Trump survived an assassination attempt. Rwandians living in 5 African countries, South Africa, Madagascar, Lesotho, Namibia, and Mauritius, are voting in the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. Voting took place on Sunday for those abroad, today for those in Rwanda. Polling stations were located at hotels and convention centers. The Rwandan High Commissioner in South Africa emphasized the importance of this election, which allows expatriates to have their voices heard and contribute to Rwanda's democracy. And in health news, the number of cases of an influenza continue to arise, and the ZANU-PF government seems to hide information about this infection from the public. Change Radio urges citizens to take necessary precautions against the spread of upper respiratory illnesses, including COVID-19, by seeking early medical assistance for testing and timely treatment. In sports news, Zimbabwe crumbles as India emerges victorious in the 5-match T20 international series played in Harare. Despite Chevrons winning the first match, the horse suffered a dramatic collapse, succumbing to a dismal 4-match losing streak, ultimately surrendering the series to the reigning world champions. Bulawayo Giants Islanders Football Club beat Dynamos Football Club by 2-0 at Rufaro Stadium. This season, Islanders have managed to get all 6 points from the Battle of Zimbabwe games by beating their traditional rivals 2-1 in Bulawayo and yesterday 2-0 away at Rufaro Stadium. Meanwhile, Spain were crowned UEFA European champions after cruising past England last night by 2-1. Spain opened the scoring in the 47th minute, courtesy of William England. Substitute Cole Palmer equalized in the 73rd minute. Spain were too good for England. They found the back of the net, took the lead, and sealed the victory in the 86th minute. To end this bulletin, here are the headlines once again. President Chiusa admires Japanese bullet trains, wishes if Zimbabwe could copy. Honorable Ngadzore sues government of abduction and torture. Auditor General reveals chronic looting by ZANU-PF. That concludes this news bulletin. Thank you for listening. From myself, Shimiso Sibanda, and the entire team at Change Radio, it's a good evening.